I'm Danny Epperson, and I'm at the Commodore Dinner Theater in downtown Portsmouth, and it's out of this world. Thanks for joining me for WHRO Cinema 15 and our feature presentation, 1977's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. In 1975, director Steven Spielberg created the summer blockbuster genre with Jaws and had most of the country afraid to go in the water. 2 years later, he had everyone looking up, afraid of what may be coming from the skies. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is the science fiction masterpiece that made Spielberg a household name.
Director Steven Spielberg, whose most recent motion picture, Jaws, is already a legend.
With this movie, he developed the prototype for his style of cinematic storytelling. Steven Spielberg tells tales of adventure, wonder, and imagination. He also makes movies about what happens when extraterrestrials visit suburbia. Close Encounters is about three people determined to discover the truth about unidentified flying objects. A curious French scientist, an obsessed suburban dad, a single mother desperately searching for her son.
They got him.
They all converge on the iconic Devil's Tower in Wyoming, where they learn once and for all, we are not alone. You could say that the idea for this movie was decades in the making. In 1957, Spielberg was a boy in Phoenix, Arizona. One night, his father woke the family and rushed them to the desert to see a passing comet. They missed the comet, but witnessed a meteor shower. That event launched the director's fascination with the mysteries of the universe. At 17, Spielberg shot Firelight, an 8mm film about three balls of light that hover over a small town. You'll see both of those influences in the final cut of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This 1977 film stars Richard Dreyfuss, Melinda Dillon, and Terry Garr.
What is happening here?
It also marks the acting debut of legendary French director François Truffaut. I'll be back after the movie to tell you more about that memorable score and the unforgettable finale. But for now, hit the lights, add a little more butter to your mashed potatoes, and get ready for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg once said that nothing has been harder for him than putting together the last 25 minutes of Close Encounters. And after watching, it's easy to see why. The final spectacle of the mothership landing at the Devil's Tower is stunning. The scope of the finale was so large that it would not fit on any existing soundstage. Spielberg built the largest movie set of its time inside an airplane hangar in Alabama. Spielberg entertained the idea of doing some UFO effects with computers, but the technology wasn't up to the task. The landing sequence was achieved by using detailed miniature models along with creative camera and lighting techniques to convince us that aliens had arrived. Speaking of aliens, a big challenge was making the aliens look right. Special effects technologies available in 1976 limited Spielberg. They tried puppets and even a chimpanzee on roller skates. But what ended up on screen was a few dozen 6-year-old Alabama ballerinas in rubber masks. One of the reasons that the film's theme of communicating with music works so well is that composer John Williams created the score first, and then Spielberg edited the film to fit the musical cues. This gave the movie a rich layer of lyrical emotion. Williams and Spielberg went through hundreds of musical possibilities to find the right 5-note combination, and they finally settled on the now famous composition. For anyone who'd like a closer encounter with the mothership model used in this movie, you can find it at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Chantilly, Virginia. That's all I have for this week. I'm Danny Epperson, and I'll see you next time for WHRO Cinema 15 and another classic movie.